Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your go-to source for inside stories, cutting-edge research, and the latest updates in the world of dairy farming. The 60-second episode explores the connection between a dwindling workforce and climbing stillbirth rates on dairy farms. So please grab a glass of milk, sit back, and let's get started with this week's episode.
Have you ever wondered why stillbirth rates are increasing on dairy farms? There's a hidden crisis rocking the business to its core. As more farms run with fewer employees, the implications become brutally apparent. It's not only overworked personnel or longer hours. The primary victim is animal health, including increased stillbirth rates. This issue is more than a statistic. Each stillbirth is a heartbreaking loss, both personally and financially. Ryan Braun, director of Everett Ag, clearly states, addressing the problem of fewer personnel and increasing stillbirth rates is not just critical for animal welfare. It is critical for the long-term viability of dairy farms. If this hits close to your heart, stay around as we investigate the problem and look for practical answers. It could be critical to your farm's survival.
Imagine putting your heartfelt everything into producing a healthy herd, only to see the calves die before they can breathe their first breath. It's heartbreaking, right? The dairy farming industry is experiencing a quiet crisis of stillbirths, resulting in emotional and financial pressure. So what constitutes stillbirth? As described, a stillbirth in dairy farming occurs when a calf is delivered dead. This tragedy may happen for various reasons, including problems after delivery, infections, or genetic disorders. Unfortunately, the situation worsens, and the figures speak for themselves. Take Jane, a dairy farmer in Wisconsin, for example. She remembers a tough year when she lost numerous calves to stillbirth. It felt like a punch to the gut every single time, she recalls. Not only did I lose potential income, but the emotional toll was indescribable. This emotional toll is something that every farmer can relate to, making the issue of stillbirths more than just a financial burden. Each stillbirth incurs a significant financial cost. Dairy producers lose potential milk production and income with each calf that dies. In addition, families often suffer additional veterinary fees to avoid future stillbirths. According to one estimate, each stillbirth may cost a farmer $500 to $1,000, which includes the loss of the calf as well as extra care and treatment for the dam. This financial burden is a stark reality for many dairy farmers. Let's not overlook the emotional toll. For farmers, these losses are more than simply figures on a spreadsheet. They are a succession of little heartbreaks that compound over time. Some farmers contemplate abandoning the sector entirely, feeling discouraged by the constant loss and stress. This concealed issue must be solved to prevent farmers from suffering more mental misery and financial devastation. More awareness and effective solutions are required.
Now let us discuss the employee element. Have you ever wondered how the number of workers on your farm relates to stillbirth rates? It can seem unconnected at first, yet there is a crucial relationship. When there are fewer workers, each one is responsible for various duties. This may result in insufficient monitoring of the cow's requirements. Studies have indicated that farms with labor shortages have higher miscarriage rates. A survey by McCart, JAA, and Neves, RC, found that decreasing care has a detrimental influence on reproductive success and stillbirth rates. Consider this. If a cow is not regularly observed, early discomfort signals may go undetected. This is critical around calving. If these signals are ignored, they may develop into problems, increasing the risk of stillbirth. A detailed study of 20 farms in the United States discovered that a decreased staff was closely connected with poor animal care, which led to an increase in stillbirths. It's about more than just being understaffed. It's about the level of care each employee can deliver. With a stretched thin workforce, each cow's particular care is diminished. Unfortunately, this fact is reflected by a decline in lactation milk production levels, down roughly 3% from last year, pointing to a more serious underlying problem. So what is the direct cost of this issue? Beyond the emotional toll, increased stillbirth rates result in more significant financial losses for dairy farms. This issue requires an immediate response. Investing in additional personnel may ensure each cow receives the care it needs, thereby saving calves and money.
The expense of stillbirths is much more than an empty stall in the barn. Financially, the loss of a calf immediately reduces prospective revenue. Imagine arranging to sell calves or expecting higher milk output, only to have the chance ripped away. Each miscarriage may cost a farmer between $750 and $1,000 in lost income, McCart, JAA, and Neves RC. That is not the end of it. There are also higher veterinary fees to consider. Each case entails caring for the cow and exploring viable remedies to avoid future stillbirths. According to research, farmers may see their vet expenditures increase by several $100s every event. There is an emotional cost in addition to the financial one. This is sad. You care for them, you watch them perform, and then they're gone before you ever meet them, explains Farmer John of Indiana. This loss may cause tension and worry due to the possibility of repeated occurrences, demonstrating that managing stillbirths is about more than just profit. It is about the well-being of farmers and their herds.
Dairy farms with fewer personnel saw a stunning 15% rise in stillbirths. Labor shortages in the dairy business have increased by 20% in the last 5 years, producing challenges across the board. Farms that maintain adequate staffing levels have 30% fewer stillbirths, but retaining enough personnel is becoming more complex. Employee turnover in dairy farming has reached an all-time high of 25%, with almost 80% of dairy producers needing help to recruit trained personnel. These concerns cause significant losses, with stillbirths accounting for 10% of overall calf losses in understaffed farms.
Did you know that a 10% staff decrease on dairy farms may result in a stunning 25% rise in stillbirths? This is not just a statistic, but a problematic reality for many dairy producers today. Dealing with a stillbirth is not only emotionally devastating, but also financially draining. According to McCart and Neves' report published in May 2022, each stillbirth may cost a dairy farm up to $1,000 in direct expenditures. That's money out of your pocket, not to mention the time and resources wasted. As many in the business have discovered, there is a significant shortage of skilled agricultural labor. This exacerbates the problem, driving stillbirth rates even higher. The industry cannot afford to ignore these facts any longer.
So, what can be done to reduce stillbirth rates on dairy farms? First and foremost, qualified personnel are necessary. Having enough personnel ensures that cows get timely and appropriate care at critical moments, particularly while calving. Training is also essential. Well-trained personnel can detect and handle possible issues before they become full-fledged crises. Monitoring is also essential, and technology may make a significant difference. According to Ryan Braun, director of Ever.ag, AI-powered computer vision monitoring systems are being employed to track cattle. These devices may identify indicators of discomfort or difficulties in real time, leading to faster intervention. Braun describes technology as an extra set of eyes on every cow 24/7, which dramatically reduces response times to issues. Implementing best practices is another good technique. Dairy farmer Sam China provides some valuable thoughts. Over the last decade, he has lowered his herd's stillbirth rate from 7 to 8% to 1.4%. It's all about creating a comprehensive care routine from diet to environment and not missing any signs of trouble, Sam tells me. Beyond individual initiatives, building a culture of cooperation and continual learning may have a significant impact. Sharing information and experiences among farmers may result in community-driven solutions and unique methods for addressing the problem.
Ultimately, fewer personnel are leading to escalating stillbirth rates on dairy farms, resulting in not just emotional agony, but also considerable economic losses. Addressing this problem is more than simply rescuing calves. It is also about protecting dairy farmers' livelihoods and safeguarding the industry's long-term viability. So, will you take the required precautions to avoid stillbirths on your farm, or will you continue to allow this silent tragedy to unfold?
Thank you for tuning in to the Bovine Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's insightful discussion. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Catch you next time on the Bovine Podcast, where bovine expertise and community come together.